The tracker has now finished its calculations. If I highlight it, you'll see over here in the image itself where it tracked that specular highlight, and you'll see that it's written the key on every frame, recording the movement of the background. Now that doesn't have anything to do with that foreground plate. It simply records the data of the movement of the background plate. So now we have to transfer that information into the foreground plate. So I'm going to right-click and add a recent tool that I've used called the 2D transform. 2D transform. Again, there's multiple ways I could select this, but because it's a recent tool, it comes in, and of course it's not doing anything at this moment. So it needs to control the transformation of the foreground. So I'm going to wire the foreground into the input and wire the output of the transform to the front plate, and now the transform is in between the two. Down here we see some information. We can do XYZ translation, we can do rotation, we can scale, and we can move pivot points. What I want to do, however, is I want to transfer the information that was recorded by the tracker into the translation field of the transform, the 2D transform. That way, when the camera movement of the background plate is transferred into the transformation of the foreground character, everything will be in sync. So here I can right-click on the translation, and do I want to stabilize the position? No, that's another operation. What I want to do is track the position, and I want to choose the tracker. We've only got one in the scene, so only one shows up in the list. And I'll link those two together. Now, the transformation, you look at your numbers here, there's 0, 0 at this point at frame 1. If I move my frame, you see that the numbers are automatically updating because that information from the keyframes of the tracker has been transferred into this operator. So now my character moves up and down based on the movement of the background plate. However, you'll notice his feet are down in the middle of the log somewhere. So we're not quite finished yet. We need another transform that's going to set the character in the correct starting location. I'm going to go to keyframe 1, and I'm going to add another 2D transform. And I'm going to wire this transform into the new transform, and the new transform into the front blend and comp. Move these out a little bit. Now this transform is going to be used to adjust the character to be up on top of the log. All I'm going to do here is going to be in the Y direction. I'm simply going to click in this Y numeric field and hold my left key down and drag to the right. And you can see the character going up and down. So I position the feet at the top of that log. So it's up 30 units. Now again, as I change frames, you'll see that the character tends to stay more closely to the top of the log. So a little bit further up so we can see it begin to move down. So we have two transforms. One transform is managing the up and down of the character to match the background. The other transform is the initial position of the character. Now, it doesn't matter which came first. They're both acting on the front plate, so it's not a big deal which one is before the other. So, 2D transforms, multiple transforms to match the background.